How's it going, everybody? My name is Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. I'm a six-figure Amazon seller and full-time student, and in today's video I'm going to be going into some tips and tricks if you're a new online arbitrage seller or any type of seller, as far as avoiding price tanking, IP complaints, just some general beginner rules to abide by, some simple guidelines when you're first starting out, so that you're going to be sure that you're making those profits, and you're going to be sure to keep your Amazon account healthy, so that you can set up your business well for the long run, keep that cash flow going. Before we do that, I just want to say that only about 25% of the people who watch my videos are subscribed, so if you want to go ahead and hit that button, that would help me out. I'm going to help your business out, so if you could help mine out, hit that button, that'd be great. Let's jump right into it. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you're first starting out is going to be to make sure that your account health stays positive, so that you're not getting any kind of product compliance violations. One of those violations you can avoid pretty easily is with an extension called IP Alert. I'm just going to show you how that works right now. So I'm going to go to a brand that I know files IP complaints against retail arbitrage and online arbitrage sellers who are selling without wholesale invoices, and it can be a whole headache to try to get those released with retail receipts, and sometimes you can't get it done with retail receipts, but in this case I'm going to show you how you can avoid those products. This is just a really simple Chrome extension. It's $50 for the full lifetime. It's called IP Alert. And it's just this little box right here. It'll show up anytime you go onto an Amazon page that is a brand that is known to file IP complaints. And the way that this works is it's kind of crowdsourced. So if someone who has IP complaint receives an IP complaint from a brand, they're going to go ahead and log that in IP complaints database. And anytime someone in the future goes on to that product, they're going to see that that brand might come after them for trying to sell that product without proper wholesale invoices and all that good stuff. This IP complaint or IP alert is going to help you avoid those IP complaints, which as a new seller could damage your account health, which can hurt your sales and maybe even get you shut off of Amazon. But I've never had an IP complaint, and I've been doing OA for a long time. I mean, I've had IP complaints, but they've gone away. They've all been mistakes. So they are pretty rare, and you just want to make sure that you take just that extra step to make sure that you're avoiding those IP complaints. So IP alert is going to say that this brand files IP complaints. You're just going to say okay, and then also there is a little siren right here, and also within tactical arbitrage, I'll go ahead and pull that up right now. It also integrates with tactical arbitrage, so if you go to your view data page, it's going to show you right here underneath the brand that it does not, they're not known to file IP complaints. That's this little check mark right here. So it works within tactical arbitrage, so that you're able to source even faster using tactical arbitrage in conjunction with IP alert, so that you're for sure going to avoid those IP complaints. So another tool that is super helpful for online arbitrage is called Keepa. It's right here. It integrates on every Amazon product. It shows you all kinds of data like sales ranks. It's going to show you how fast the product is selling. In this case, almost pretty much all these little drops on this graph are sales, and then you can use it to track all kinds of stuff. I have some of it turned off, some of it turned on. These orange boxes right here show you the third-party FBA over time. I like to use that box when I'm pricing, kind of considering what my items are going to sell for when I'm sourcing for online arbitrage. Because as you can see, it doesn't always match up with the blue line on Keepa, because the blue line is often merchant fulfilled offers, which are typically not going to get the buy box if your FBA offers are within a reasonable margin of those FBA offers. And then one thing you can use Keepa for if you're first starting out, something to kind of keep in mind is this down here will show you the historical used offer count or historical offer count. And that's just kind of going to show you how many sellers were on the listing at any given time. You can use this for a couple purposes, but the first purpose I'm going to show you right now is kind of how to predict when a listing might tank in price pretty soon. So in this case, you can see, let's just zoom out right here. So right here, it's just been one or two sellers, super consistent buy box, super consistent sales. So this listing is going to be really predictable for what's going to happen if you decide to go ahead and jump on this listing. Sometimes if you have a listing with one offer or two offers, it could be private label. We'll talk about that in just a second. But in this case, it's not, just because it's a slow volume brand that I've sold before and had no problem selling it before. But if you go now and look at the 3-month, you can see this the new offer count is increasing really quickly. And what that tells me is that people are are finding this product somewhere. I actually found this product I think it was last week for an online arbitrage sourcing, and I talked about how the new offer counts is going up, so the price might tank soon. And you're seeing this price is just slowly dropping here. See, it was 24 back when there was 1 to 3 sellers on it, and now that there are 17 sellers on it, it's already dropping down to 22. And I can only imagine that price is going to keep dropping as one of those 17 sellers decides that, hey, I want all those sales, and so they're going to drop it by 25 cents, and then the next person is going to do the same thing, and then eventually the price is probably going to tank down to somewhere within a very small profit margin or break even, just because this new offer count has increased so fast. Simple supply and demand. A lot of people have it. It's not that highly demanded, so as the new offer count increases, generally the future new FBA price will decrease to kind of equalize that supply and demand. And that's also a good sign. So say you have a product that you're replenishing, if the new offer count is starting to spike really quickly, you could consider maybe buying less for another restock, or just maybe hopping off the product because it's probably going to tank pretty soon. But that's up to your own personal risk tolerances. That's just one simple way you can tell when a product is likely to continue a downward pricing trend if those new offers are increasing. And one more thing I want to talk about with Keepa is how to tell. So we talked about IP complaint in avoiding IP alert and in avoiding IP complaints. But one more way you can kind of run down the checklist when you're sourcing for online arbitrage, wholesale, whatever, to avoid those IP complaints. You're going to want to try to avoid private label brands and brands that work very closely with Amazon. See, in this case, this item, first of all, you can see is sold by Native Deodorant, which is the company here. So this is not necessarily an Amazon private label product. It's just a really popular product right now. But the brand itself is on this listing, so they're very highly incentivized to keep other people off this listing because obviously they want to capture those sales for themselves. So if you see the brand on the listing, so if you see sold by right down here, and it's the brand that matches, stay far, far away from that product because you are almost certain to receive an IP complaint or an email of some kind from the company trying to kick you off the listing. And it's well within their right to do so, especially if they're already selling on Amazon. But one way you can tell that it might be a private label product if the seller names don't match up is if I see a line that looks like this, where it's been one new seller for an entire year, and then very infrequent recent second offer looks like it's this guy right here, Amazing Warehouse, with not a lot of ratings. So this tells me that this guy's probably going to get an IP complaint sent his way pretty soon and get booted off this listing. But in this case, that one new offer count shows me that this is probably a very well protected product. Otherwise, people also would have seen some profit potential there and jumped on this listing. But there's only one offer, so we're going to stay far, far away from this because this brand is clearly protecting this listing very well because no one's been able to jump on it. One last thing to keep in mind when you're sourcing during the summer, outside of April, I believe it's April 15th is the cutoff date for Meltables until mid-October. You're not able to send in items that potentially could melt, and sometimes it's kind of random what items Amazon decides could melt, and sometimes it's pretty obvious, but a pretty easy way to check just before you buy. So maybe you're sourcing, so I've been selling a lot of gummy vitamins lately, so before I go ahead and buy those gummy vitamins, I'm going to check that against the Meltables list that Amazon provides. If you want to just Google the Amazon Meltables spreadsheet list, it's going to show you all the products. That's the list right here. It's got a crazy amount of products all the way down. Let's see what we've got. It's like 450,000 something products that will melt if you try to ship them into Amazon during the summer months. So before you're sourcing any type of food product, any type of gummies, you're going to want to make sure that that product is not on this list. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to send it into FBA, and it'll be a way different process as far as getting that to the customer because you're going to have to merchant fulfill it and make sure it doesn't melt and all kinds of stuff. So you're going to want to avoid chocolate and that kind of stuff during the summer. And one way you can check just to make sure that your product is not considered meltable by Amazon and you are able to send it into FBA is just to check this spreadsheet here. You're going to grab the ASIN from the list, from the product listing up here. It's right here, and then the ASIN would also be down here in the product description, right down here. There's the ASIN. You're going to copy that and you're going to throw it in the spreadsheet here. and it finds it right there. It's product number 200,000 that you cannot send into FBA during the summer, otherwise it would melt, and therefore Amazon is just straight up not going to let you send that in. So you're just going to be stuck holding that, or you're going to have to merchant fulfill it. So that's just one last thing to keep in mind when you're sourcing during the summer months, is just double check that Meltables list. So I hope you guys got some value out of this video. I hope you apply it to your sourcing when you're moving forward. Help you keep your profits high. Remember to check Keepa always. Check for IP complaints using IP alert. You're also going to want to double check that Meltables list. Just all those things are going to help keep your business very profitable. If you got some value out of this, feel free to like, comment, ask any questions you've got down below. There's also a spreadsheet that I built for online arbitrage. If you want to go ahead and check that out down below, it's just a simple little profit calculation, and it's also going to help you track your inventory for when you're listing it later. But simple little tool. You can check that out on my website. You can also check out tactical arbitrage, all that good stuff. That's going to be down below. But thanks for watching this video, guys. See you next time.